Hi, this is Keeping Up with Aunt Canada TV.
Gukurahundi was a series of massacres carried out by the Zimbabwe National Army from early 1983 to 1987. The word loosely translates to the early rain which washes away the chaff before the spring rains, simply to get rid of. And so today we're going to listen to the story of an 11-year-old girl who lived with her parents and her two siblings on a dark and scary night, full of fear, frightened, and not knowing what was next, but a story of freedom, liberation, forgiveness, and a new life. This story will help you and I to understand what forgiveness is and how to move on, how to not suffer from the pain and the misery caused by those who hurt us.
Today, I'm going to share my story. So on this day, my father comes back from work and he's telling us there were bad people who were going to come to our home. Not just one, not just two, but a lot of bad people. So I'm thinking to myself, bad people, if he knows there's bad people coming, why doesn't he get rid of them? Because he knows, right? And he says, so these bad people have been to my grandparents' homestead and they burnt almost everything, the entire homestead, including their stash of food, and they actually had to get them to take off their clothes, throw them in the fire, and they have absolutely nothing. And my grandmother is beat and she broke her ankle and maybe her elbow. So I'm thinking to myself, so if these bad people are coming, why is this man not taking us away and running with us, But, for the first time, just like a little girl, every little girl, this is my hero. This is the guy who knows how to take care of business. So I'm looking at him and I see a little bit fear in him. So, I didn't have that opportunity to ask, why are you not taking us and running, So as the day went by, he keeps on reminding us, everything is going to be okay. You don't have to worry. So I remember he had bought, back in the day, they used to have not CDs, not cassettes or whatever. They were called LPs, I guess. Yeah. So he was playing that. There was a specific song he was playing on that list. And the song repeatedly said, I'm not going to be afraid of death because I have a savior. And he played that song for the whole week, So it was ringing in my head. It kept on ringing in my head when he was telling this. I'm like, so it means these bad guys are going to come and take this guy and maybe kill him, or what is going on, So he told us, he said, but you don't have to be afraid. My little brother was like 1 and my sister was like 6 or 5. So at least I could comprehend. I knew what was going on. And within the home, we had a lady who used to help out with the chores and taking care of us and babysitting us. So this lady, in the afternoon, she had mentioned something to me, and she told me, she's like, you know what? I have nothing to do with this home and the family. I don't want to be here. I'm looking at her, I'm like, you've been here, you stay with us. Why not today? I was 11 years old. I didn't know what was going on. So it comes prayer time. We had our evening devotion around 7. So we had our prayers, and during the prayer, the entire time, my father was talking about how these bad guys were going to come and how much we shouldn't be afraid because God is going to be around and God is going to take care of us and everything is going to be fine. So the prayer is done and we were done. We got to our room. So usually my mom would come and make sure that we're in our rooms and everything is good. And but on this specific day, my father comes and he came into our room. We had a double-decker bed, and he comes. He talks to my sister on the bottom, and he talks to me. He's like, "You guys are gonna be okay. If anything happens, mom is gonna be here. If mom is not here, you guys are gonna be okay. God is here. He's gonna take care of you." So it was really, really difficult. It was really difficult for me because I said, wow, this guy is really freaking out. I didn't care about me because he didn't tell me they were coming for me or they're coming for my sister or anybody, but they were coming for specifically him and maybe my mom. So I said, okay, whatever. So my dad goes to his room and then the guy comes back again. He wakes us up. I'm like, okay, it's time to sleep now. And he's like, okay, you guys need to get up. So we got up and I came down and my sister was there too. And he's like, okay, you need to change your clothes now. Take off your pajamas or, okay, no. Don't take them off, you know. He got the other pairs of clothes and then he put them on us. And he said, at least if they maybe try and beat you up, at least you have enough cushioning. And I'm like, okay, it's us getting beat up now? Okay, no problem. So we had to put on those clothes again. So here we are, it's kind of winter time in the blankets and it's like, so and then we went back to our blankets and everything was okay, commotion. And he goes back to bed. After a few moments, the guy is back again. Now he has a woolen hat and he has a jacket on top of his pajamas, and it's apparently, I think it was summertime. And I'm like, okay, the guy is really, this is out of hand now. It's like, okay, so he comes back, he wakes us up, he tells us to come down from our bed. We did, and he takes off the clothes that he had put on again on us. We stayed with our pajamas, we went back to bed, he went to his room. This time he comes back again, he's like, okay, let's kneel down, let's pray. So we knelt down. I was looking at him, I wasn't even closing my eyes this time. I'm like, okay, this is freaky. He started praying, he's like, God, you know, protect us and be with us. You know, he's like, okay, they're going to come now. Everything is going to be fine. Don't be afraid. If they beat me up, if they take me, you guys are going to be fine. So we're like, okay. He leaves, he goes to his room. You know, for the 5th or 10th time, the guy comes back again. Now he has a different outfit. He is wearing more than 5 clothes on him because I think in his mind, so to me, I was thinking, okay, he's thinking that if they beat him up, at least you won't feel the pain because now he has so much clothes on him. But it was heart-wrenching to watch an 11-year-old watching their father go through the emotion. I was fearful at this moment because I knew this is it. Because before the day, we had passed by homes where his friends used to live, and these homes were burning, you know. And I overheard him and my mom talking about, oh, this guy died, this one died, you know, but I didn't want to get so much into detail. So now everything was coming together. I'm like, today is the day for this guy to die. Wow. Okay, so now it's, you know, I don't remember what time it was, but it was kind of in the middle of the night. We had a lot of singing and a lot of shouting, and like, you know, there were curse words, there were just derogative words, and like it wasn't good. And I said, this is it. This is it. For the last time my father came in, he said, those guys are here. Everything is going to be okay. He closed the door. He opened it. He closed it. And he opened it. And then he left. He went to his room. So now, all of a sudden, bam, the door was wide open. Like in no time, there was, I couldn't see anything in the house but a whole lot of people. It was very young people. When I think about it, these kids were like maybe in their they were 17 or maybe 18. They were singing. They were saying all these words. They were it was crazy. The other one just hit our door and then they pulled us out of our room and we were standing there. From a distance. The only person I could identify at this moment, the three people was like from a distance. My dad, they had him like held, like the other person was holding kind of his neck and the other person was pulling his hands at the back. And my mom was standing there with so much fear in her eyes. So much fear. I had never seen her in that state. My 1-year-old brother, I think the dude was just sleeping. He had just woken up. His eyes were like all over. And I'm like, okay. So he was just looking, but you could see that he's like surprised what is going on because it was something that I've never seen myself. The house is filled. People are singing. They're saying all these things about my father, about the tribe he comes from. Like, it was crazy, So now they're talking, they are screaming, they are singing, and they are pushing us around. Me and my sister, they were like, "Are they boys? Are they boys?" And then the other guys were like, "No, they're girls, And then they started talking and they started singing. And then the other kids, the other ones, they were outside, they were screaming because our car was parked outside. So I guess they wanted to pop. Later on, I understand they had poured gasoline on the car. They wanted to burn the car. It was crazy, And then, so they were talking, and I hear some guy say something, which later on I believe he said, "This is our boss's house," So apparently my mother worked in the council. So within the council, I think she was managing some of the guys who worked in the parks, who took care of the lawns, took care of some of the things around. So this kid identified my mom. This is my understanding. Identified my mom and is like, "Oh, this is my boss's house." And all of a sudden, they started walking out. Just like that. And remember, we had our maid, the lady who used to help around with the chores. Apparently, before they came in the home, after we had our prayer, she decided to leave the house. We were taking care of chicken. We had chicken around the house, and so there was a chicken coop in the around in the yard. So she went and she slept in there. She had nothing to do with us. I don't know if she told my parents, but I remember very well she told me that she had nothing to do with us. She had no connections with us, so she left. She went and slept in the chicken coop. So I was like, okay. So the guys left, and yeah, and so. But when they left, my father was hurt. I think they beat him up or whatever was going on, whatever they were doing during that commotion and stuff like that. So in the morning, my mother took my dad to the hospital and they came back running. The guy was hurt, but they came back running. And I asked my mom, I said, "You just came back?" They were telling us, "Oh yeah, the same guys were waiting for people at the hospital. Those were hurt. They were waiting for them at the hospital and beating them up again." So it was very traumatic. And all of a sudden, like, homes were burnt, everything was burnt, but our home was safe. And all the people from my grandparents' homestead, they were brought to live with us in the city. So that is my story.
Part 2.
So I'm hopeful, yes I am hopeful for today. Take this music and use it, let it take you away. And be hopeful, and he'll make a way. I know it ain't easy, but that's okay, cause we hopeful.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.